Hey everybody, CasualDadPlays here, playing or explaining how to play Civ 7, baby. Don't forget, they're down in the description so you can jump to see your favorite leader and where it's at. Make sure you leave a like for these tier lists, and if you like Civ 7, leave a like for that as well. Drop me some comments of where you think I'm wrong or something you don't like or you disagree with. I'm glad to hear all that because all these tier lists are all about your opinion. But I am one of the few people who have played every single leader. If you don't believe me, go check my channel. I have a video on every leader in the game, all on deity difficulty. So I feel pretty confident about what I'm talking about also. And so yeah, if you haven't already, hit that sub button. I'm trying to hit 5,000 subs by the end of June for my birthday. Would appreciate that free gift you can give me. I love you people. Anyways, we're gonna get in. Here is the criteria I'm gonna be judging things on. A little different than last time. Last time, because Civ 7 was so new and everything, wanting to just give that previous tier list for beginners. And we're going to take a look at that tier list and see how it changes for this one. Just for people that are new to Civ and new to Civ 7 to help them out. But this time we're going to take the view of playing on deity. So this one is really for everybody. This is for your beginners to your experts. It doesn't matter. It's going to be good because deity, with how far behind the player is with, production, science, culture, all that stuff, and how far ahead the AI gets. It's called cheating or whatever, but I mean, it's just the way they program the AI to give you more of a challenge. If it works on deity, it's absolutely going to work on lower levels. Lower levels, you just have a lot more freedom and wiggle room to make mistakes. So we're also going to take into consideration different map types. I know a lot of people like to just say the standard continents or continents plus. I'm also thinking fractal, archipelago, Pangea, multiple map types of, in general, what somebody can expect from that leader. Then that plays right into the ease of the ability of use, right? Like how can you use their abilities is what that means. Is some people, like the first one we're gonna look at, I think, is Amina. Like she's fairly easy to use her abilities because she just gets combat bonuses for being in certain terrain. So like just play around that terrain. And then also ease of synergy with other civilizations. So not all civilizations and leaders go really well together, but it's kind of like the most to give you the most variety of play, as well as like some strong synergies. We're taking a balance between those two. Also looking at single player. Multiplayer is completely different. Multiplayer is really hard to get those independent bonuses. People will just snatch them out, and and then you've wasted Diplo points. Also, the Diplo game is different because it's actually people having to respond to you. So all this is for single player. No mods that affect how the game is played. UI mods are different, map tax, overlays, something like that, whatever. I'm cool with those. But like AI mods that either make them harder or more easy or change up scaling and cost of things, none of those. Also, limited mementos. So, once you unlock a leader to level 10, which can take 5-6 playthroughs, if you're not hitting 12-point legacy pass like every age. If you do that, 2, maybe 3 playthroughs. Otherwise, you got 6 playthroughs to unlock like their strongest abilities. And so this also goes with the no mods, because there's mods that unlock all the mementos. So can't be using that. So the limited mementos are just for like, you've played the game, you played, say 20 hours, you've got 3 to 4 games under your belt, maybe more. So you got a few levels, right? So you've got some of the basic mementos. That's all I'm considering there to kind of help out the leaders. And then center age, speed, and age length. When you're on faster speeds, it covers up more of your mistakes because everything costs less. It costs more if it's longer, obviously, and so that can make certain people better or stronger. Like in Civ 6, if you played like on a longer speed and you had Barbarian Clans mode turned on, and who was it? think it was Rome. Somebody, whenever you pillaged a barb camp, you got a bunch of gold, like 200 gold or something. There's videos out there of people putting like 2 or 3 units on every barb camp and just pillaging, letting that turn timer come up and hitting again, and they were getting like, in antiquity, getting 1,000 gold every 10 turns. So you're basically getting 100 gold per turn is what it broke down to, when you're supposed to be getting like 5. So it, you know, that kind of stuff can change the game. I'm not saying you do it here. I've only played on standard speed, so I don't have time to play longer games, and the shorter games are just because to me they become too easy. And then also age length, whether it's a standard age or long age, doesn't really matter too much. It does make getting those 12 points a little easier. So in the beginning, if you're trying to unlock people, play longer age lengths. It'll help you have a little bit more time to get some more points per game. The short age length is actually super short. There's like a disparity in the length between the 3 options. And on deity, you got 1, maybe 2 legacy paths you can go for. Last is you have crises on. I generally play with them off because I'm not trying to do like warfare or whatever, and just having a good time. But when you start off, you should play with them on just to get used to them. It helps explain and makes more sense of the age transition, because if you think about it, at the end of the age, right, you have crises, you're trying to finish your legacy path, but your empire's crumbling because of these crises. And so then you start the next age, you've recovered from the crises, but like your cities have been downgraded, all these things have changed because of the crises. Right now, my only problem is the crises don't feel crisis enough. They feel more annoying. And so we need to do something to get those to be more impactful. Sorry, I just need to take a sip of some strawberry cake tea that my wife got. It's so delicious. Let me get another sip. So good. So good. And a bonus I don't have here is I'm going to be telling you who you should start off, if you're not sure, who you should try starting them off with in Antiquity Age to give you a really good start to your game. Now, most of these, spoiler alert, if you've seen my civilization tier list, most of them are going to be the top, okay? Just to be honest, they're going to be the S tiers for most of these leaders. There's some leaders that they'll do better with certain other ones. Like Ahsoka just does better with Moria, you know, but Moria is not necessarily S tier for me. It kind of is. And then another bonus is I'm actually going to be ranking them left to right within each tier. So we'll have S tier to D tier, F tier, whatever. But in that tier, I'm also going to rank left to right. Left is higher than the ones on the right. So that means S tier at the right is close to being A tier on the left. And you could kind of say there's a bit of a blending between the two. Okay, so that's how we are going to do it. And we're going to keep this in case we want to take a look at it later. And so this is the tier list from last time for our leaders. And we're going to see how much this changes now that we have some new updates. And so now we're going to go through and we're going to start our new one. So first up, we have the lovely Ada Lovelace. Okay, just a reminder, I'm going to have the unique abilities on the screen. Not going to necessarily go through and read it word for word, but we're going to talk about it. So Ada's cities, they get some more science whenever you complete civics masteries, and culture when you complete science masteries. So, you know, it's real nice back and forth play. You know, she works really good with high food, high production civs, just because the more you can churn out your economy, the more her ability is going to come in to play. I really like Ada with Mississippi, because Mississippi has those food adjacencies and those gold adjacencies. And so, you know, you can be halfway, or not halfway, I should say 3/4 of the way through antiquity, and you can have 4 or 5 cities. Even with the nerf to city costs, you can have 4 or 5 cities, maybe even 6 if you play your cards right. So, and then you keep those into the next age with the golden age for economy legacy, and then you're just steamrolling from there. So based on our criteria, I really like Ada. Overall, she's a really solid pick. You can't go wrong with her. I think that she doesn't have any starting biases. I think that she can go with pretty much any civ and doesn't really need any mementos to make her better. I don't think she's S tier, just because of the way they've redone some things in the game with the food meta and things coming out. But she's not B. She's definitely A tier. That's where I'm going to put her. Amina, she is really good. I really like her. She gets +5 combat strength on all units in plains and deserts. She gets gold per age for each resource assigned to cities, and she gets 1 resource capacity in cities. That is strong. Amina with Mississippi also. Okay, so Mississippi, if you haven't seen, I'm going to go ahead and spoil it for you, is my top of top tier civilizations. This is before the food patch and after, especially. I don't care what anybody says. It's just so hard to want to play anything else unless you're going for a specific game or like military. But even military, man, Mississippi's burning arrows, so good. But we're not here for civilizations, we're here for leaders. Amina on deity, that +5 comes in handy to help narrow the difference between the deities. I think it's +8 combat strength in you if you're defending or attacking from plains and deserts. The only thing is you have to get to those locations and then hold it from there. But the gold per age for each resource assigned makes it really nice if you're playing Mississippi or somebody like that where you're just trying to be peaceful and trading. She is missing the gold helps, but she's missing some other things like production or food or science or culture that for me makes her better. I kind of want to put her A tier, but I think she's at the cusp of B tier, right? Like she's kind of like one of these. I may reevaluate that. Let me know in the comments if you agree with her being in B tier or not. We may do it again when we change things up. Now we have Ahsoka, both the World Conqueror and World Renouncer. Both of them are pretty similar in what they do. They're either diplomatic militaristic or diplomatic expansionist, which you could argue, well, isn't militaristic also expansionist? But, you know, we're not splitting hairs here. So Conqueror gets production for every 5 excess happiness and 10% production in settlements not founded by you. And when you declare a form of war, you get 5 combat strength against districts for all units. So obviously that helps with taking cities down. In deity is a little more difficult because he doesn't have those bonuses against the other units. It's just for districts. So you still gotta fight through those units to get there. And World Renouncer is food in cities for every excess happiness, 10% food in all settlements during a celebration, and all buildings gain +1 happiness adjacency for all improvements. That's super powerful. So Ahsoka, the World Conqueror, I think they're not the same rank. I think he's pretty good. I don't think on deity and the higher difficulties that he's going to be for most people, because it can be difficult to go to war and maintain your happiness. Now he gets good happiness bonuses and things, but he just feels a little weak the way it's all set up, because war is counteractive or counterproductive to your happiness. I mean, you get that production for going to war and getting something that's not founded by you. So for now, I'm going to keep him in B tier. He's going to shuffle down. And the World Renouncer, he's going to be A tier or S tier. just because of the way the food works nowadays. It is just jam-packed, right? Like, this is just, he's going to get more food. He's going to get, his happiness means he's going to get more food. The food means he's going to get more people. More people means he's going to be able to do more things. It gets more happiness. So it's just like this, your game engine, because all these games are just an engine. How can you build it to, for every one input, you get more and more output? All right, so you put one person in, you get some food and happiness out. Well, that food and happiness give you maybe 2 people, and then that gives you 4 people, and then, you know, so you're exponentially growing with him. So he is S tier. He works with pretty much any civ, really. Maybe not some of the war-specific civs, but really easy to use. Again, Moria is good with both of those guys. You could even do Mississippi. Not opposed to Mississippi with the World Renouncer. That would be insane, because now you're doubling down on your food bonuses you get for their adjacencies, and you're doubling down with the gold adjacencies. And because now you have a unique improvement that you throw around, that's even more happiness. I may try that next. Ahsoka Mississippi start may be the next Civ 7 video you see on the channel, so watch out. Make sure you subscribe to see if that comes out. Next we have Augustus. Good old Augustus, +2 production and cap for every town. Can purchase culture buildings in towns, and you get reduced gold cost for purchasing those buildings. He kind of suffered a little bit, because since food wasn't good, it helped him better, but now that food's so good and he doesn't really have anything food related. Now, granted, he gets production for towns, so you're more incentivized to have more towns. And, you know, maybe you go with food towns, right? And, you know, then you could counteract that. Augustus is one of those that Mississippi would help him go from bottom up, but I think he works really well, not just with Rome, obviously, but with Carthage, because Carthage, you can't have any other cities other than your capital. But Augustus, to me, he's kind of fallen down for that reason. Like, if you're not playing Carthage, he doesn't feel great to play. That could just be me, but that's where I would be at. Also, if you hear some background noise, we have some roofers today. I do apologize, but I just cannot wait to get this out. You guys need the true tier list, you know, from somebody who's played every civ and every leader. So I had to get out for you guys. But I do apologize. I'm going to try and make sure in post edit that we remove as much of that as possible. I just wanted to let you know in case it comes through. Ben Franklin is next. He gets science on production buildings, and he can produce production buildings faster, which means he gets his science going faster. He can do 2 endeavors, and he gets science per age for active endeavors that you either start or support. So think about it. You start 2, well, there's 2 science per age, right? And then anytime somebody sends something to you, so the larger the map you play, with the more civs, the more leaders, the stronger Ben Franklin is. He works really well with pretty much any civ and anything you want to do. I'm, of course, going to pair him with Mississippi. I don't think he's as strong as Ada. I think even though she takes a little bit, she's a little slower to get online than Ben. I think her abilities, you get to use them a little bit often, because these are for production buildings. Well, you get 2 early on, and then you don't really get the other 2 till later in the Antiquity Age. So I'd keep him, I'm gonna put him above Ahsoka. Ahsoka is like almost C tier. This one. Catherine the Great, she's so good. Culture for displayed great works. Buildings get an additional slot for great works. You get bonuses for science and culture in Tundra. She has a Tundra bias. My last game I played was with Catherine, and she was fantastic. Again, she's surprisingly, her and Ada would be pretty good with Maya. I know Maya got really nerfed a couple patches ago, But if you did either one of these ladies with Maya, their 5% production bonus to, once you complete a tech, it's still good, especially if you've got a lot of independent people that you're choosing and you're getting free techs from them. That can still be super strong, because I mean 5% is not nothing. It's not 15, which was outrageous. Maybe 7 or 8% would be good. But yeah, we'll see what they do. These two ladies I think are really good for anything you want to do. Maya, Mississippi. I did Catherine the Great as Greece to get that extra diplomacy. It was bonkers. They're really good. I like those ladies a lot. Charlemagne, he has some adjustments. So military and science buildings receive happiness adjacency for quarters. You get 2 cavalry units once they're unlocked when entering a celebration, plus 5 cavalry units combat strength during a celebration. Charlemagne is still kind of pigeonholed. This hasn't been updated. He's getting some science things. Let me go ahead and pull up the notes so that we can see. We can see exactly, because I don't remember and I don't want to say something wrong for you guys. So we're gonna come down here, and I thought they said they're gonna change him. Evidently I was mistaken. I thought they were gonna change him. Maybe I was thinking of Friedrich. But we're gonna have this up, right? We're just gonna make sure that we don't forget the changes, just to make sure that the wiki is properly set up. I think people have talked about adding some changes, but whether he has changes or not, I don't think Charlemagne is really great, other than focusing on military victory. I don't so because of the unique case for him, and he only gets that combat strength during celebrations. Now, he'd be good if you paired him with somebody that helps get more happiness, like a Mori or somebody. But, adjacency for quarters, well, it takes a little while to get those quarters up. And it's military and science buildings that receive happiness adjacencies for quarters. So he doesn't feel great. I don't, especially with the food stuff. I think if you're not playing somebody with good food civ, and you're not on top of things, he does not feel great. He's D tier for me. I just don't like playing him. He's okay beforehand, but now I just don't like playing him. Confucius, brother. 25 growth rate in all cities, and science from specialists. Well, I mean, this guy, he is S tier. If it wasn't for the happiness that you get, he would probably be above Ashoka, just because the happiness gets me more card slots for your government, so that's going to increase your bonuses way more. But Confucius, that growth rate means you're going to have a lot of specialists, which means you're going to have a lot of science regardless of what victory path you're going for. He's just super easy to play with anybody. So that is Confucius for you. And here we are with Friedrich, both oblique and baroque. And so from the notes, we know that they now have extra units depending on what masteries that they have in the game, which is really good, because before it was just the culture or the science building. Like, that's only 2 units per city per age. And that wasn't really strong, especially like when some of your science buildings don't come till later. You like antiquity age, you have 3, maybe 4 cities. That's 8 units max, but you don't get your second science building until later in the age. So he felt really bad. Now he feels better. The culture for baroque to me makes him stronger than oblique. I do like the merit commendation it gives the radius. That's really nice for military things, and the great work when you capture settlements for the first time. But unless you're going a heavy military game, they're not that great, or he's not that great. I mean, he could be with any civ you want and do whatever military style that they are geared towards, but they're not. I don't think they're D tier. They're better than Charlemagne, but they're not as good as Augustus. I think both of them, they kind of fall down there. Now this girl, I would say this Bia, but family friendly. All right, this girl. All right, I hate when she's in my game so much that sometimes I just want to pick my civ, my leaders, just to make sure she's not in there. Or I play as her. Now with the current meta with the food and still how overpowered influence is, it's just so strong. So this means her espionage is 33% cheaper is how this works out, okay? And she gets 5 war support on all wars declared against you, right? And then of course, no movement penalties through vegetation. So you pick her with some Mississippi or some Maya. Oh my goodness, you're off to such a strong start. You can just you get your tech skills, your civic skills unlocked as soon as possible, and all you do is you just run those non-stop, okay? You pair this with maybe somebody like Greece to get even more influence. Non-stop. It's just going to be disgusting. Now, I don't think she's S tier because she's not great all around. I think she's better than these other guys. But I don't. But because you can only have 2 things going at 2 espionage at a time, I don't think she's better than Ben Franklin because he can have 4 going. So even though her cost is 33% reduced, if you want to think about it, his is 50% because he can have 2 at a time. If I'm reading that correctly. I do think she's probably better than Ahsoka. So she's a nice solid choice to play as. I hate playing against her own deity, but you know, she's pretty good. Next up, we have Hatshepsut. And Hatshepsut, she also got a buff just to make sure +1 culture per age on each unique resource. And make sure that was added in here correctly. So that's really nice. That really buffs her culture ability a lot. 15% production towards construction of buildings and wonders in cities that are adjacent to navigable rivers. That's super nice. Especially if you can get a navigable city where it's just 1 tile next to navigable river for that inner ring, so you're not losing out too much there. I mean, navigable rivers are good. You just have to go down the seafaring path to get the buildings that go on there to make it worth it. Otherwise, she's just kind of okay. With the navigable rivers, I think she's really good, especially if you want to do a culture victory. She's a real solid choice. The production really helps. Navigable rivers means you're gonna have a lot of food, a lot of growth, and the culture is also gonna help you get through your civic trees to unlock things to really keep growing. I actually think she's better than Harriet Tubman because Harriet Tubman's a little bit more pigeonholed of like you have to do espionage, which can tick people off and they go to war with you. And even though you've got 5 war support, which kind of helps you out in the upper difficulties, like you would rather just sim up and then go to war if you absolutely have to. And so I think Hatshepsut's better than Harriet Tubman. Next up, we have the Himikos, the High Shaman, and the Queen of Wa. These also got some love, or at least High Shaman did. So she got added 2 happiness per age on happiness and influence buildings, and 50% production towards constructing happiness and influence buildings. So 2 happiness per age on happiness and influence buildings, and you get production towards the happiness and influence buildings, and then double if building is both. That's insane. You get culture, but you lose some science, and they're doubled in celebrations. Like, that's just going to be that's so powerful now because they helped you with your happiness more. She is easily A tier. She might even be S tier. Because now you're going to be getting more happiness on your influence, and you're going to do influence anyways. She's really good. Like, that culture was going to zoom you through. get you ahead, get you the food opens. I think she's S tier. I think that's where I'm gonna put the High Shaman. Now the Queen of Wa gains a unique endeavor, Friend of Way, which can be performed in an alliance, and you get science. And then you can support endeavors for free, which is super powerful because of your that already means she's minimum B tier because of how strong influence is in your influence points. And then if you're friendly or helpful with people, you get more science. The Queen of Wa, I think she's pretty good. The Friend of Way, I think that's a food one, so that's really good. She honestly to me is better than Hatshepsut. Not as good as Ben Franklin in my opinion. Now Ibn Battuta, Mr. Battuti, as my kids like to say. He gets 2 attribute points after you get your civics in each age and increased sight, which is really helpful. The Endeavor trade map is okay, but after a little bit of antiquity, it's not useful. If you're on Pangea, it's not really gonna be useful after antiquity either. But it's useful on all the other maps. Whenever you find somebody new, you can quickly, especially exploration age, you can quickly discover everything else quicker than you can with your scouts. You can save that production for something else. Yeah, I like that he's an expansionist and stuff, but he just feels weak now. Like he was already but he just feels like really weak. Yeah, he would need a lot of help. You'd have to really stack your mementos properly. I don't know that I like him so much anymore. He was okay as before. Let's see what I had him as before. Yeah, he was B tier before. I don't think he's B tier anymore. I'd rather play these guys over Ibn Battuta. I still think Ibn Battuta is better than Charlemagne. Charlemagne just feels bad. Isabella, 300 gold when you get natural wonders, double if it's in distant lands, 100% tile yields, doubling those. Purchase naval units. She's just so good. She's a little bit harder to play, so she's not gonna be S tier, A tier right now. If you get good starts though, and then you know, she could be on the right circumstances S tier, but this is for most circumstances. And I don't think she's there. I think most of the time she's B tier if you're gonna be doing Archipelago or Fractal. She is super strong. I think she probably falls in right here. And actually, I'm gonna put Amina at A tier. I'm just thinking about her gold that she gives you, and then the combat strength from the get-go of the game. You don't even have to research anything. I think that really helps you out in the higher difficulties. I'm gonna raise her up. But Isabella, she's a nice, solid B tier lady. You know, it just so much depends on is she really good or is she really bad? Because she could be like, you could get like none of these. You could have a hard time getting naval out for whatever reason, and then like she's down here, but then you could have a lot of the wonders and she's up here. So I think B tier is good for her. Now Jose's one that I think is now overpowered. I'm just going to tell you that when gaining rewards from narrative events, you get an additional 20 culture, 20 gold, and 20 influence per age. So every narrative event in the antiquity age, 20 influence. That is so strong. Now people may think it's not that strong because you start off with 10 per turn, and then you can get upwards of 14, 15, 16 per turn depending on how you play the game. But early on, when there's a lot of goody huts, there's a lot of things happening with your culture and your diplomatic and all these things going on where you're getting like there's some turns I get like 3-4 events on one turn, or I'm getting at least an event every turn. I would say on average I'm probably getting an extra 5 diplo or influence point per turn if you want to break it down on a per turn basis. Like that's huge. You pair him, I did a review video about the update. You can go check out where I just played Greece for like 50% of the way through the game, the Antiquity Age. on Pangea, and then we talked about it at the end. He is super strong. You got your celebrations last longer. You have more happiness towards celebrations, so that happens more, and he has more narrative events than other people in general. So like Jose, even though he doesn't have food here, but because of the influence, regardless of who you play, man, Jose is just, he's gonna be one of the top dogs, man. Pair him with Greece or Mississippi, man, you're gonna, it's gonna be a wild game, wild game. Now Lafayette, oh Lafayette, you're still just kind of geared towards fighting, and you get some happiness in culture. I just don't like playing you. You just feel bad. You're actually worse than Charlemagne. You're the worst one. All right, you're the worst one. I don't like, the endeavor's nice. Don't get me wrong, but there's not a lot here. I mean, yeah, you get combat strength for every tradition, but to really take advantage of that in the upper difficulties, that's like the second half, almost the last third of the age, when you're also battling the crises. Like, I don't know. Lafayette is just not my favorite. He never has been. I'm sorry if he's your favorite. He's just too pigeonholed. I like to have the ability to, like, okay, generally, like, I'm gonna take Ada for example. Generally, it's like, I want to do some culture stuff. So let's see how much fun we can have doing culture related things today. Okay, but then something happens and it's like, oh well, culture's not gonna happen. I need to switch to, science or economic or even military. She can make that switch, just no problem. Like, because once you get in the game, sometimes stuff's gonna happen and you can't do what you wanted to do. So if, like, instance, I want to do a bunch of wonders, but like some of the wonders get taken, I don't have a good spawn to get certain wonders. Like, I don't have desert, so I can't do Petra. Well, I have to kind of switch things off, And so with him, when he's pigeonholed, it's like, if you don't build straight into going to war as soon as you get all your traditions, like, what are you even doing? Right? He gets ahead by making everybody else go behind. Like, there's two types of leaders. All right, let's bring up paint. I want to explain this. There's in general, there's two types of leaders. So when we're looking at, like, how do they get ahead, right? And so let's make sure we got a nice thick oil brush here. All right, so we got the leaders that it's just a bloody climb as they go up. Okay, others get brought down. Okay, so in the end, they look ahead, but that's just because others have been knocked down. I understand that's how war happens, but my favorite is just the regular growth. Okay, where you're growing and you outgrow everybody else. So maybe, especially upper difficulties, they start here, but they don't grow like you, right? That's what I rather do. I rather just be like, look, I'm just better. Okay, just overall, I'm just better. Instead of, hey, I killed you, I destroyed you, I took some of your cities, so of course you're gonna be down because now I have 3 times the cities you do, right? So this kind of gameplay, these leaders, I don't like, because in the end, what you have, if you have a ranking, okay, so you have leader, let's get this down a little bit. You have leader 1, you have leader type 2. So if you do a ranking, okay, like, so you're gonna do like stair steps, or like Civ 6 used to have at the end of the game. So if you have these little stair steps, right, of like an overall score for the game, right, most of the time, the vast majority of the time, type 1 leaders are gonna be down here, type 2 leaders are gonna be up here as far as score goes, right? They look the same in game because you're winning, you're beating the AI, you're getting your victory, your legacy points, and your victory conditions. But if you were to normalize it across multiple games on a score basis, number 1 is gonna be down here. I just don't like that, like, because there's so much more. Well, There's a little bit more risk because if you don't do well, then you go down. But it just pigeonholes you. Like, this is all you can do. On type 2, you have many ways that you can grow and outscale people. So that's just my opinion there. All right, so that's why Lafayette is last. Now Machiavelli, oh my goodness, again, another influence guy. That means he's at least A tier. If you've got influence that you're dealing with, like directly, so you can use it wherever. The reason these two, Ben Franklin and Harriet, are low here is because their influence is specific to like certain endeavors and things. Not very good for overall. But Machiavelli, influence. You get gold when proposals are accepted, and more gold when they're rejected. And you don't need relationship requirements to go to war, and you can levy city-state units no matter what. So you can get your influence per turn, and you can generate gold by just sending out actions all the time. And you don't care what happens. You're either getting 50 or 100 gold. If you don't want to focus on your city-states, that's fine. You don't have to, because in a pinch, you can always use this gold that you just got and influence you saved up to buy armies to defend yourself. Influence to get the levies from city-states, and then, of course, gold for your own cities, which is really good because if the AI takes a military city-state and picks the specialty units, maybe they're super strong for a certain case. Well, you can just use influence and you can buy those units to use against that very same AI. So, you know, he levels the playing field. I don't think he is S tier because of how little that you really want to go into the Diplo meta and trying to get textiles and free stuff from city-states, and he doesn't have food to help counteract. Because let's look at this. Okay, let's just say you've pissed everybody off, so you're getting 100 gold every time, right? Well, when they're mad, that's something like, I think it's 60, 70 influence. Let's just say 60 for ease of math. All right, so that's 20 turns to get 100 gold. That's all that is that's 5 gold per turn, right? 5 gold per turn. Which, I mean, in the beginning, that's nothing to scoff at, right? That extra gold is always good. But more importantly, in the early game, you should be focused on using the influence for your city-states. But because, and so you may be thinking, but CasualDad, then why isn't he lower? It sounds like you're saying he should be lower. So he's at the end. He's on the cusp of B, okay? And the reason that he is in A is because of that flexibility. I will always give precedence to civs and leaders that have a little more flexibility that you can mold yourself to the game with, right? So that's why he's an A tier for me. Next, Napoleon. I really like his sanction. It's really good to cripple an enemy, so that like if you're already ticked off of somebody, is how I like to play the Emperor. You're already ticked off. You're already planning to go to war with somebody, or you are at war. Use the sanction to just cripple their economy. Okay, and you get more gold when people are upset with you. Again, bigger maps, better for him. And then you can reject endeavors for free, which can be really nice when you want to play into that. However, because he is so militaristic kind of focused, he doesn't have production, he doesn't have food, he doesn't have gold except for when the leaders are unfriendly with you. He doesn't have Diplo. He is he feels better to play than these other guys, because at least he can do something. These other guys just kind of like, I'm here. But I don't think he's on the border. All right, at least these other guys, they get units, they get culture, they get other production, they got other things going for him. He does not. Okay, it's just, yeah, I feel so bad for Napoleon. Now the revolutionary one, He is a little bit better. All right, I'm putting him at the end of B tier because at least when you're fighting, you're getting culture equal to 50% of his combat strength, which is really handy in the upper tiers because they have more combat strength by default. So when you defeat them, you're getting more culture. You know, so that's where I would go with old revolutionary. There's just not much to say about either one of them. They just are. Ugh. He is still on the cusp of C tier though, and he's on the cusp of D tier. It's just blah. Okay, now Pachacuti. All buildings gain +1 food adjacency for mountains. Specialists adjacent to mountains do not cost happiness, which is great. And cities gain a bonus of production equal to 10% of that city's food. Now you're thinking, oh, all this food, that's got to be S tier, right? Wrong. He's A tier. He's A tier because the food adjacency is from the mountains. Now, you plug this guy in with Mississippi, holy crap. Do you get a lot of food, a lot of big towns, a lot of big cities, like fast, and a lot of specialists. So, oh my, your numbers can get big with Pachacuti, okay? He is a monster, especially late age monster, but he's limited by the mountains, all right? Now, granted, he has a mountain bias, but so you might get your capital has mountains, but do your other cities have mountains? And also mountains they can take some time because you don't want mountains in your first ring because that takes away good usable tiles for districts and stuff. Now, mountains are good because you get your happiness and your culture buildings and things get bonuses from the mountains. So he's really good, and he would be S tier if it wasn't so situational. Like, once the game comes out with the ability, like in Civ 6, to adjust how many mountains are in the game, like you get to adjust the formula, like Civ 6 lets you, and you can increase the mountains, or maybe you have like a South America specific map or a Himalaya specific map. But if you something have more mountain specific map, that dude's gonna be rocking. But because we don't have those specific maps yet, he's A tier, but he's close to S tier. Simon Bolivar gets a war support on all wars. Conquering settlement for the first time gets this constructible, and unrest does not prevent purchasing. He's really nice. I like him. He's probably my favorite militaristic guy, like pure military guy. He's gonna be right behind Harriet Tubman, just because of the purchasing. Like you go to war and so the graph earlier with paint, he's kind of like this hybrid between that type 1 type 2. He can go to war, take some cities, takes like half the cities, because then he can quickly purchase and get them up to running faster, so he doesn't need to take as much to bring you down. So he's pretty good all around. I like his abilities here, make him better than most of these people. You may be thinking, okay, why not Augustus? And that's fair. Augustus, you're probably better than Napoleon, to be honest, now I'm thinking about it. But these guys down here, Friedrich, it's just so slow getting his bonuses out. Like, you gotta get those masteries, which kind of takes some time, and so they just feel bad. Like, Simon, it doesn't matter. You can just use his ability whenever. You can go to war quick and get off to the bats running faster. That's just my opinion. Let me know what you think about that. Now, Tecumseh, +1 food and production per age and settlements for every city-state you're suzerain of, +1 combat strength for all units for every city-state you're suzerain of. This guy is the top of the top. He's not going to be beat. Food and production for every city-state you're suzerain of. Combat strength. So not only are you getting bigger, you're growing faster, you're getting more buildings, but if somebody ever wants to attack you, you're now stronger. Like, he is overpowered. I almost think that they need to split Tecumseh into two different versions, like Friedrich or Napoleon. Like, they need like a war version, and then they need the diplomat, because this right here is too powerful. You play him Mississippi, my goodness, you are good. Oh my goodness, because like Mississippi, like, those burning arrows, you're just sitting there, you're just defending, and they can't push into you, and you're still pumping out food. I'm gonna sneeze. Excuse me. You're pumping out production. All the while you're slowly getting combat strength up for your city-states you're suzerain of. he's just too good. Trung Trac, 3 free promotions on your first commander. They get experience faster. They get science in tropical tiles, and it's doubled when you declare a war. Now, this is great. I really like her. I think she is above Harriet just because you've got that guaranteed science that helps to push her up. Harriet doesn't. She has got to steal it. So I think Trung is better than Harriet. Now down to Xerxes. Achaemenid got +10 trade range. So we'll talk about him in a second. Xerxes, King of Kings. I mean, he's still really good for attacking. The culture and the gold helps to keep you up, so you can kind of do whatever you want. The gold is doubled in settlements that weren't founded by you, so really rewards for military focused play, and you get more settlement limit per age. I actually am starting to like him more. I'm naturally not against the military a little bit because it is so hit and miss whether it's going to go well for you. You've really got to plan well. But given the chance, I think Xerxes, King of Kings, he's a nice, solid player now. I think the gold, being able to buy some of your food buildings to counteract him not having any food or production stuff is going to be really helpful to get him going. Now, Xerxes, the Achaemenid, that trade limit with other leaders is super nice. And then that trade range makes it super nice. I hate having to put down connecting cities or different things or just waiting. Like, that just means he can get online faster. He can get his culture going faster, and even his economic victory is going to be faster, and his science victory is going to be faster because he's getting resources into his empire faster. You're getting buildings and improvements out faster, so that means you get more culture and gold. I like him as a S tier. I like him because I should have put this on the criteria. Some of it to me is also the speed of getting online. So if you'll notice some of these down here, part of the reason why I put them down here is they're slower to get online, right? But versus some of these others, like, they're good from the get-go. Now, granted, the exception is Confucius. He is slow to get online, but when he does, he might more than, like, it's exponential. He more than makes up for it. All these other ones, like, as you go down, they start, it's part of the ease of use, right? They get harder to use, and that's kind of, if I had to weight one criteria over the others, that's probably the one I weight the most, is the ease of use. How quickly can I get your abilities online, and how are you going to be able to help me, right? So that's it on this tier list. Let's do a quick comparison to see from last time. Oh man, we had quite the shakeup. We had quite the shakeup indeed. Now, granted, this other tier list was for beginners, but I mean, quite the shakeup. I would say that the devs did a good job making sure, you know, things are getting shook around. Again, this one was geared towards beginners, but I would even still keep this for mostly for deity too. This, I mean, if you want to say balanced, to me, I wasn't even trying to make it balanced, but I mean, it's pretty balanced. Like, you've got a few crappy guys at the bottom. You got most people right in the middle, which is not bad. You've got several different play styles of being S tier, and you got several different play styles of being A tier. Like, I mean, what do you want? You want everybody to be B? That's not gonna be possible. I mean, and don't get me wrong, these guys down here at the bottom, they can be good under certain circumstances. It's just like so little that it's just like, ugh. And really, for D tier, I don't even care what order you put them in. I just don't want to play them. They're just, ugh. Like, a lot of memento helps and everything. And if you're ever wondering, oh, I'm not sure what should I play these guys with to start the game off. Okay, first, always try with who the game recommends, either as historical or geographical choice. That's generally going to be pretty good. If you don't want to do that, or you've done that before and want to do something else, Mississippi, is always good. Maya can be good too. If you really focus on getting your cities up and getting your unique quarters out as soon as possible to take advantage of that. And really Maya is a setup for the later game. Mississippi's good from the get-go. That's why I prefer Mississippi over Maya. Maya needs a little bit of a buff. You can also do Greece. The Diplo stuff is really helpful. Even if you don't want to do city-states, you get bonuses to your endeavors and other actions. Or cost less. So Greece is really good. Yeah, I think those would be the two. If you're not going to do the historical geographical choices, Mississippi because of the food and the gold and the resources, and then Greece because of the influence, and then your Logios guys that you can spawn once you have your unique quarter. Start adding everything to your empire. Science, culture, influence. It's just insane. So there it is, people. There's the tier list. Let me know what you think about it down in the comments. Where did I go wrong? Where do you disagree? Let me know, but just don't say, oh, you got it wrong, or Lafayette shouldn't be at the bottom, or Tecumseh shouldn't be at the top. Like, give me reasons. Give me reasons why, all right? Other people want to know why. Don't just be a troll and write whatever you want to write because of the heck of it. Give some reasons, or it's going to be ignored, all right? But this has been your Casual Dad. We've been doing a tier list for Civ 7. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe for my birthday. I appreciate it. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.